Welcome to episode 46 of Digital Download. We are back at you live, but not really because this is pre-recorded. I am Jesse Vitelli. With me I have Nick Negri.
How's it going?
And David Rodriguez Pepe is back.
Hello.
And our most consistent guest appearance.
I'm around.
You are
all
around.
the time.
How are you guys feeling on this fine
Doing
Tuesday?
Doing
Great.
It'll be some other day when this goes up. Who knows when?
Maybe.
We'll say Thursday.
Let's say Wednesday.
Let's say
Thursday
all
to
of the
be
days.
safe. All the days. It'll be up eventually.
Winter day.
Monday through Sunday. Got it.
A day that ends in Y.
Bang bang. So what channel on TV is 46? That's your running thing. Do you know?
Oh, no, I didn't even think about it.
Let's just say Bravo. I think that's 44, but we're close enough.
Top Chef.
Top Chef. That's not a TV channel, but that is a television channel.
It's on Bravo.
You get it all here, right? In
46.
digital download.
Could be sci-fi.
Steven Sci-Fi. It could be. Tweet at us or write in the comments below on using Optimum Online what channel 46 is.
We don't care about Comcast.
Or Verizon Fios.
Or Time Warner Cable.
Or DirecTV. Or Sling.
I don't have any more.
PlayStation View.
PlayStation View doesn't have channel numbers. So
how do you find anything?
it's all alphabetized.
By, distributor, probably?
No,
So,
it's just alphabetized by the name of the channel.
Yes.
By distributor.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay. I was very confused from. I was like, what? Alrighty. Well, so since we've restructured and now we do the podcast every other week, I started a new segment on the last podcast that we will continue on this podcast. It's called In News Today, in which we only discuss news that happened at the moment of recording. So, in news today, Overwatch teasing a new hero.
Ooh.
I haven't been on the podcast in who knows how long, and this is all you got for us? Overwatch?
We're going to keep going. Don't worry. Overwatch teasing a new hero. Potentially a new genetically modified gorilla. Potentially a rivalry between Winston and this new gorilla.
Gorilla Grodd.
That's cool.
This comes from Overwatch's fake news channel, Atlas. They call it Atlas News Channel, which is their in-game news. And there was a news thing that came up about a potentially a genetically modified gorilla that was running rampant.
Nice.
Which is generally how they tease these things.
It'd be really cool if they made a Mortal Kombat versus Overwatch game versus Injustice and put Gorilla Grodd in there.
That's a lot going on.
That's three parties battling it out.
There's a lot happening.
I wouldn't be against the idea of an Overwatch fighting game. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think that could be interesting. They certainly have enough characters.
No other news on the Overwatch hero other than that. I'm sure we'll see it. It's about time for a new hero. They tend to do every month. There's a big update. So last month the month of May was this Overwatch anniversary event that's been going on. Get that diva skin, all that cool stuff.
How bad do you think the I'm forgetting the word for it, but the game to figure it out?
Oh, the ARG?
Yeah, the ARG.
I think they learned their lessons from Sombra, and they will probably never do another ARG again.
It's probably a good idea, because it
they
was
should
awful.
Probably stay away from that. So hopefully it's kind of like Orisa, where they tease it, and then the next day you get a little more information. And then what was cool about Orisa is that they changed the map Numbani. They were it was attacked, and then
that was cool.
Things were destroyed, and Doomfist Gauntlet was ripped out of the case, and there were a bunch of dead robots that you'd never seen before all over the place. And then Orisa was announced the next day in a teaser trailer, and then it went into the PTR and was out in a couple weeks later. So hopefully, throughout this week, maybe by the time you're listening to this episode, we already know more about this genetically modified gorilla that's supposedly
There's going to be
around.
So many bananas, just all over every map.
You know what? Let's just throw Donkey Kong into the mix and make it a four-way battle royale.
Well, Gorilla Grodd, Winston, Donkey Kong,
King Kong.
And just Mortal Kombat.
King Kong.
And just anything from Mortal Kombat.
No, it's only Gorilla. Gorilla's only.
Oh. Gorilla's only.
Harambe. It's 5.
Come on,
Recently, the anniversary.
Have some respect.
It's been a
for
year.
Harambe.
We could talk about Harambe now. It's been 1 year. We can talk about Harambe
we can bring him
on
back
this
up.
podcast.
Not
Rest
in video game form.
Digital Download episode 46 is dedicated to you, Harambe.
As every other one is, but this one specifically.
Speaking of animals, in news today, Sonic Mania got a release date, August 15th, baby.
Oh.
Coming to the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Windows PC.
That's a very Switch-friendly game.
It is. That's a great game to have on the Switch. Because you're not worried about graphic fidelity. You're worried about 60 frames per second, though. Sonic, gotta go fast.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine.
I believe Fast RMX, which is the other 60 frame per second racing game that they have on the Switch, runs very well handheld mode, but when you put it on the TV, it gets kind of choppy. I don't think Sonic Mania will do that. It shouldn't. It's not, like I said, it's not this graphical powerhouse. But
Mario Kart's pretty fast. I don't think it's 60 frames per second, but
it is.
It's a lot going on
what is it?
in
I was
a
talking
racing type game.
when you play local co-op, like we had 3 people on the TV at David's house.
It was a little tough.
It was getting bad. It was getting choppy.
Yeah, it really
I
was.
can only imagine adding a 4th person on that TV.
Oh no.
It would have been.
I don't want
not
to think
great.
about it.
Mario Kart, great game though, but that's not news today. Sonic Mania, Gage in the panel. You guys have any interest in that?
Nope.
No?
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for Sonic Mania.
I don't know if I'm interested in it because like I'm very much interested in the fact that it's going to be a Switch game, and I really want to get another Switch game so that I don't have a Zelda machine.
Yep.
You know, I actually have a console. But on the other hand, Sonic has been very disappointing for a long time.
What's nice about Sonic Mania is the developers are the people who made all the really good fan games for Sonic. They hired all those people to make Sonic Mania. So it's people who love Sonic. They're passionate about it. They made great fan versions of Sonic that people love. So hopefully Sonic Mania is just a byproduct of that, and it comes out and people like it. And from what they've shown off, it looks pretty cool. So in news today, and our last news of the day for this segment, because there was only 3 things that I felt that were very important that came out today. The people who created I Am Setsuna, Tokyo RPG Factory, published by Square Enix, announced their new IP, Lost Spear, or maybe Sphere. It's spelled Sphear. Spear. I don't know how you pronounce that.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they're just going to call it Spear.
Spear.
Yeah,
I would imagine Spear. They say it is a classic take on traditional JRPGs. So if you played I Am Setsuna, it's a love letter to Chrono Trigger. Very very similar, just updated and its own story. Tokyo RPG Factory. I Am Setsuna wasn't the best game in the world. I think it was a solid 7 across the board for most people. But I think that they learned a lot, and I'm sure Lost Spear. There's a reveal trailer for it. You can check it out. I think it might be worth something. It might be worth keeping your eye on.
Yeah.
Might be a fun little, maybe a Switch game that might be worth, because I Am Setsuna is on the Switch.
Just need a lot more Switch games.
It might be worth picking up if it's a sort of like a dungeon crawling.
I'm sure it'll be on the Switch if it's not already confirmed.
Right. So check it out. Keep an eye out on it. It looks good. That's all I got to say about that. Anybody excited about Lost Spear?
What a selling point.
Woo.
There's not a lot of information out on it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, other than the reveal trailer, I might buy it. I might just go for it. Screw it. Love letters are pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially the games that are very good.
Mm-hmm.
I Am Setsuna was a $40 game when it came out. So it wasn't a full 60, so who knows, maybe Lost Spear will also be a $40 game. That's also a pretty good selling point.
Yeah, pretty good steal.
Any game that's not $60 is pretty good by me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, we are moving on to what I hope will be the bulk of this discussion. Just gotta write down my time codes. The bulk of our discussion is E3 is approaching.
Woo.
E3 is approaching.
And since we are a bi-weekly, I guess is the correct term, podcast now, that means that we're only going to have one other episode before E3.
Okay.
Potentially after E3. I don't know when our recording date will go for that episode. So I really just have one big question that I'd like to throw your way and see what you guys do with it.
Will we see Bloodborne 2? Yes.
No. From Software has a new IP that they will announce.
I thought they already announced it.
No.
Isn't that what Code Vein is?
No, that's Bandai Namco.
Oh.
Nothing to do with From Software or Bloodborne or the Soul
They have
series.
nothing to do with that game?
Absolutely nothing. Code Vein is Bandai Namco.
I had a conversation with somebody who convinced me that they had a lot to do with that game.
I will double check for you right now, but I do not believe that Code Vein has anything to do.
They were convincing, so that led me to just believe them. It's like when I was
Don't
told
believe everything you hear.
It's like when I was told
Bandai Namco Studios. It's called Code Vein Bloodlust. Maybe that's where they got their confusion.
I don't know why someone would get confused. From Software and Bloodlust, unless you're thinking Bloodborne and Bloodlust.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's nothing here that states anything about it having anything to do with.
All right, you were wrong, and I'm coming for you.
So my big question is, what does EA have to do What did they get? What do they got to do? What does EA have to do to step up their press conference? Last year, their press conference was an absolute nightmare. What do they? They got to have something. They didn't show any Star Wars. They showed a Battlefront 2 logo and a bunch of people working in their office. That's all we got. Some Madden. We didn't even get anything about the new Madden. We got, hey, look at these people play Madden professionally.
Yeah, and Snoop Dogg.
That was all after their press conference. That was the hour afterwards, where they were like, we'll have a Battlefield 1 match with all these celebrities: Zac Efron, Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg, and it was just an hour of these people playing Battlefield 1, which you could have just shown gameplay at your press conference. I want to state that their press conference is Saturday, June 10th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. They have decided to move their press conference a day earlier than everybody else's. So now it's them on Saturday. It is Microsoft and Bethesda on Sunday, Sony and Ubisoft on Monday, and Devolver Digital is somewhere. I don't know if they've announced their press conference yet.
Do you think they did that because they're afraid of being outshined?
No, I think they did it because EA has this thing about not really technically being at E3, where their stuff is always off-site. It's always not on the E3 location. Last year they simulcasted from London, so they had Peter Moore in London with a group of people like watching the press conference, and then they were in LA with a press conference, and then everybody didn't go to the E3 convention. They went to EA's, I think they call it EA Play, which is like just basically a warehouse off-site where they have all of their stuff. So I think EA just wants to be as far removed from E3 as possible, but also stay within the hype of E3.
Yeah, just like kind of get it out there.
Be like, hey, everybody else is doing this. We're gonna do it first, and we're gonna then go over here. And then we're the best, so we expect all of you to come over here instead of staying at the convention with everybody else. But I'm curious, what does EA got to do? They publish some of the biggest games that come out every year.
Battlefront 2 single player would be cool to show off.
You want to see some single player campaign from Battlefront?
I think they definitely should capitalize on that, and like maybe just show like, I don't know, like the second mission or even the first. Just something. Just anything at all. Just kind of show us like where the plot line is gonna go.
What do you want to see from that gameplay? Like what is the hook that you want from Battlefront 2? How do you're EA? How do you do this announcement?
I guess for me with like a Battlefront 2 single player thing is like I would focus on the plot mostly because the gameplay is going to be Battlefront 2.
Right.
We all know that. Like that's not going to change. But like something cool in the plot line to show off.
You want that hook.
I want to know where the story is going to go and like why I should care to follow it through.
Right. Do you want to see anything specifically from gameplay wise? Are you looking for space fights or weapons or certain characters, or is there anything that you think that EA should throw out on the stage and be like, look at what we've got cooking?
Not really. I really just want to know the story. That's what I'm most interested in. Like even if they do like some climactic moment where the main character is like in a big battle or something and she's like running and then I don't know, like a Sith Lord or a Jedi like is coming at her and she hops in a spaceship and flies up and like gets into a space battle or something. Like that can be an easy 5-minute sequence to just show off and be like, oh, like so you'll be being chased by these Jedis or whatever it is.
And then you kind of just have an understanding of what this is.
Yeah.
Cool. How do you feel about Battlefront 2? Negs?
Good. The thing that's on my brain right now is I'm trying to figure out. The question is, what does the EA need to do at E3? But the only thing that I'm thinking of in my head is, what does EA need E3 for?
That's true.
So,
but if you're gonna show up, you need something.
You need something, fine. But I guess it's like, if EA continues to move away from E3, and what if they finally disconnect themselves from it altogether? Would they be the first domino in a bunch of dominoes that basically kill E3, that press conference, and then all of the publishers just decide to release their games on their own? Or release new content for the games on their own? Like, look at what Bungie did with Destiny. Destiny did so much stuff on its own, and the hype was crazy for that. They showed off the first mission already. Anything that they would even show at E3 has already been shown. You know, they already got people pumped for this game. They don't even need to go to E3. Bungie doesn't need to be there.
Right.
So that's my point. So it's like, could EA really do the same thing? A lot of their games are essentially very samey. You know, it's like
Every
they make
sports game.
every sports game is the same. You know, they don't really. I know that they have a lot of like small games that most people don't even realize that they're EA games, like Peggle. It'd be cool to see Peggle 3.
Peggle would be cool.
But like
Peggle on the Switch.
Peggle on the Switch would be great. But again, I just keep thinking like, does EA need E3 more than E3 needs EA?
I think it comes down to a few things, and I think one of the major things of why E3 works the way it does is because E3 is the biggest gaming convention, the biggest announcement period.
Right.
And you have people flying in from all over the place for this one event that happens to house a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think if everybody starts to break off separately, you have less coverage on your things because you have less people flying in. You have less people. Yes, you get your own week.
But you kind of get more coverage in a sense if you make it so that it just spread across the internet.
But
then all those people who are flying in and making the decision to fly in, they don't even need to fly in anymore.
But
I think
they do in the sense that, because what happens is, you know, the press conferences happen, people see the game, and then they go and they play the game. They get hands on it, they get footage, they can bring that footage back, and they can do what they want with it. All these media outlets, they go there and they make appointments, and they don't wait online for a lot of stuff. They'll see their appointment, they'll see the game, they'll talk to developers, they'll get the information that they need to then relay to the people. So if you cut out the actual them playing the game part of it, you lose a lot in that process.
You might be able to send them working demos.
That's a dangerous game because then people get hands
It's just
on it.
kind of like kind of like screener copies for Oscar movies in a sense.
And those get leaked all over the place.
They
Those
do.
get leaked like crazy.
But
You
if
don't
you're
want
just
working
sending out
of your
demos,
game.
that's okay.
But also,
But
like,
you don't want working demos of your game out there because then people can dig into the code and see what stuff's in it and
I feel like
and get way more information than they probably should have.
the purpose of E3 though to me is more for the outside community from like the gamer community. Like it's not really for people who are like us that are paying attention to the gaming news and things that are going on. It's more for people who like, you know, they pick up a PlayStation 4, they get like Uncharted, maybe they get like a Battlefield, they get a Call of Duty, and those are the games they have. That's what they play PlayStation for. So they're looking at E3 to be like, oh, what is there to look forward to now? Because otherwise they wouldn't be looking for that news. Because they're not really gamers, but they like video games.
Yeah, I guess. But those people are also the same people who aren't going to care that, like, you know, Last of Us 2 is show their first gameplay. Because
Right.
they're probably not going to get Last of Us 2.
But Last of Us,
But they're not. They're
Last
also
of Us
not.
2 might not have been on their radar, and now it might be, and now they might
Right.
want
That's
to play it.
the thing. Like a lot of this is like the eye candy type of thing. Because sometimes you look at like a trailer or something that PlayStation is doing. You're like, oh, I have a PS4. Like, let's just watch this conference. Or like, let's read an article, and you watch just gameplay for a game that you might like Last of Us 2. Maybe you pick up The Last of Us because you're like, oh, that actually looks pretty good. So I feel like that's kind of the point.
Yep. I knew that was going to happen.
Yep. I heard
That
it.
post's just been falling all week.
And now it's
officially gone.
it's officially fallen.
All right.
No, it just stays like that. It's
Fallen
been doing
Brother.
that for like a week.
Oh yeah.
So now return back to the original question, and I'll answer this question too. What does EA need to do to, I guess, win E3 or wow at E3? And I do think that they need to show the first mission of Battlefront 2. That mission's probably around 15 minutes long. I think they show that off, and then like see what that leads to, and if it leads to like a big space map, the same way that you would look at with Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2, with like conquest mode and all that stuff, and you see all the planets and all, like that's the path that you follow. They let you see that and then pull it out, and then that's where they sort of end it there, so that people know that there's conquest mode, know how the story is going to flow and all that stuff, and then you have already seen where the game is going because you get the first mission.
Especially because The Last Jedi is slated for Christmas Eve.
Right.
Or Christmas Day. To me, Christmas Eve.
It's probably on both days. And hell, they'll probably show it on the 23rd.
It's gonna be 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Special screening.
Yeah. Release dates for movies are like kind of irrelevant because they just show it on the day before anyway.
Yeah.
So, handling Star Wars is a pretty easy task when you have something to show.
Yeah.
Because people will eat that shit up regardless.
If you think about
I
it,
eat it up.
a lot of E3's properties are really easy to handle.
If you have them.
Even Negri eats it up.
No, but I'm just saying, like, think about it. What are E3's games that they're always selling? Madden. I couldn't mess up Madden if they gave it to me. It's impossible at this point. FIFA, same thing. NHL, same thing. Battlefield, same thing. Now Star Wars. These games are very hard to mess up.
You'd be surprised with NHL.
Well,
even when they're messed up. But even when they're messed up, they still had a player base that played the game and enjoyed it, and some people still do play the game.
And we all also still bought it.
Yeah, and a lot of people bought it. Just based on Star Wars alone. So it was almost like, the first one sucked. We get it. Now we're going to make the second one really good. And it's not like the situation where, like, oh, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie wasn't good, but the second one's actually really good, but no one came to go see it because of how bad the first one was. Everyone's still going to go and buy Battlefront 2, and more people will buy it because it seems like it's going to be a better game.
Right.
That's true.
So now, when it comes to handling your sports properties, they're easy sells. They're some of the high-selling games of the year.
Yeah.
FIFA is the highest-selling game consistently. Why bring out actors? Why bring out Pele? Why do these things that eat up large chunks of time?
Because they have the money and they just like to show it off. And the other thing too is like they've already given up on like the gaming community. They're trying to just get normal people to buy the game. It's like
But do you think normal people would respond to seeing an actor come out on stage and give a monologue and then seeing a trailer? Because that was one of the most poorly received things of E3 last year.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They are like, it's the same reason why you would get a celebrity to endorse a product. That's basically what they're doing. They're paying these celebrities to be there and endorse their products. So it's like look at what Call of Duty has been doing with their commercials.
But that's a commercial. When you're at an E3 press conference, the only people watching that are people that care about E3.
But Madden is treating their things as a commercial because they have their own crews there, and they're pretty much taking all of their own footage and then repurposing it out to sell again after E3's done.
But they don't use his interview in a FIFA commercial. The only person that are seeing that are people that have watched that.
They don't use Pele's interview in their commercials, but they're using Pele, and a part of the contract that they made with Pele is that he's at this event for an interview.
But why have that? What I'm saying is, why have that interview? Why present that to a group of people who don't care about it?
Because they are under the assumption that people care less about the people who made the game than the people who are endorsing it.
But why not just show FIFA? Why not just show the game? Why not say, this is FIFA this year, and just blow it out with a bunch of cool
Because they
stuff?
know it's the same thing. They know the gameplay hasn't deviated much, so there's really nothing to show.
Exactly. So the thing is, why show it at all?
They're not really showing it. They're
if FIFA,
showing it with a lot of celebrity.
I think if EA went to E3, didn't talk about FIFA once, just maybe just said it's coming out, give the release date, it'll still sell the same exact amount of copies as it would.
Oh yeah.
If they blew it out with Pele or whatever,
Yeah.
I think it's almost a waste of money because like we talked about at the beginning, FIFA's going to sell regardless. They're going to do what they want. As for Madden,
they just have so much money though. That's the thing. The coolest, what they would do with Madden, which would be really cool, and it would be great if they started revealing the cover athlete at E3. I think that would be kind of cool.
That's a cool moment.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a thing to bring to a press conference.
Yeah.
But they don't do that.
They don't.
Nope.
For whatever reason.
They wait. Or they don't. It's not that they wait. Because
They just do it kind of randomly.
No.
Yeah, was there a reason that they showed off Tom Brady as the game of the year, whatever the
GOAT edition,
GOAT edition,
which is just false.
Well, he was voted in. The Madden cover has been a vote. Yeah, just like I think NHL is a vote also.
Right, but why not reveal
the winner? Because
those winners at E3.
If I remember correctly, and I would need to just go back and look at my emails, but I feel like there's some sort of prize incentive to voting, and what would be a really cool prize incentive, and they can make it so that it actually works out with E3, is if you vote for the Madden cover athlete, you enter in a chance to get flown out to E3 and reveal the cover athlete at this year's press conference.
That's cool.
You know?
That is a cool idea.
Because I think that there's some sort of thing. I think there's some sort of prize for voting for the cover athlete.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, they need to, the way prizes work and stuff like that, and any sort of competition or sweepstakes, if you will, they need to have specific dates and timelines from when the thing starts to when it ends or something like that. Yeah. There's some sort of legal standing behind it, which is why they do things the way they do. That can all be, massaged to make it work for E3. For whatever reason, they don't reveal the cover athlete at E3.
Instead, they show professional Madden players just playing Madden. Not even the new Madden. Just last year's Madden. Yep. And then they bring them out on stage.
And then they all go, "Wow, that does look like me."
And then
do they do a tournament at E3, a Madden tournament?
Not that I'm aware of. I remember them showing a montage of the Madden tournament or whatever that they had, and then the guy winning all the money, so it had happened already. And then they were just yeah, Madden, we have the best players in the league, and people love Madden, they love playing competitively. And then a lot of people were I didn't even know Madden had a competitive scene. Yeah. Which is cool because you're bringing attention to something that people didn't know about. But at the end of the day, you didn't sell Madden 16 or 17 or 18 or whatever. All you did was tell us a little story. I don't even think they mentioned the word Madden 17 last year.
Probably not.
NHL never sees the light of day.
They don't care about. They don't care about
shit
hockey.
About NHL. FIFA,
as shown in NHL.
NBA
16.
is not EA.
NBA is 2K.
2K. I don't think there's. Do they have any other sports games? Did I miss any? Madden, FIFA, NHL.
Rugby, maybe.
Rugby 15. The only game that IGN ever gave a 1 to.
Yeah, I think that's an EA game.
They have Star Wars. They have some Star Wars stuff to announce that they just haven't announced yet. They show there's 7 companies working on Star Wars games. You've got Criterion doing something. You have Visceral doing that third person Uncharted-esque Star Wars game that's coming out.
Right.
Show that. Do something with that. I mean, last year we got a piece of concept art of the behind the back of a guy on a sand planet. Mm-hmm. Don't know anything about that character, who it is, what they're doing, what that Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a good year
it is
to just focus on Star Wars.
I think it was slated for 2018, end of 2018, early 2019. I think now is the time you show something. Yeah. If it's about a year out,
mm-hmm.
you don't have to blow it out, but you could show more than just one piece of art.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if I see another montage of people sitting at their desks drawing
Ugh.
and being this is the reason this game is taking so long, is because we have to film these fucking things. I'll lose my mind. You don't have a Battlefront. I mean, you have Battlefront. You don't have a Battlefield coming out this year, so they don't have anything to show for that, unless they've got some sort of crazy expansion or something, which I don't think they do. They have anything.
Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 2.
World War 2.
I think Battlefront is gonna fill the slot for
because
that.
Fuck Call of Duty.
Also true.
EA does they love their whatever their indie team thing is, where they come up on stage and they announced Unravel that one year with the guy with Yarny and he was super nervous and everybody loved him. And then last year the guy from Zoink Games came out and introduced Faye, which is very Ori and the Blind Forest as. But they're we have so many indie developers that we're publishing blah blah blah, but we're gonna show you one. It's blow it out a little bit. Show us a couple things that you're working on.
Bobcat.
Show us some cool news.
Peggle 3.
Yeah, show us some cool stuff that's coming out of that.
Quite a while.
Microsoft loves to do that. At their press conferences, they're ID at Xbox, and then they show you Cuphead and Hellblade and Outlast.
Microsoft loves to do that. I wonder why.
A new Plants vs. Zombies would be good.
Yeah, that'd be honestly, I think that would be the most shocking thing that they could bring to that press conference would be Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 3, because nobody expects to see nobody expected to see a second one, and we got a second one.
One was I didn't really
I
play
liked
the
one.
second.
I
I
liked
loved the first one though.
And two had a single player campaign and multiplayer and horde mode and a bunch of other
Yeah,
stuff.
2
and
was a lot more.
It was a beefy game, and 3 could be cool. It could be cool to see it. I don't know what the sales numbers on Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare is. I loved original Plants vs Zombies on the computer. 10 out of 10 game. I played that game a lot.
Yeah, even if they came out with like a next gen version of like just old school Plants vs Zombies, that would be cool too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, show something.
Yeah,
Show that you there's more to EA than just
Right.
sports and
Your
war.
big IPs.
Sports and war. We got something in between working on. I think
A
that's
sports war.
that's a pretty good recipe. They find a good way to show a sports game, a cover reveal, something like that. You get a Battlefront 2 mission. They show you why you should care about Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Don't show people working at their desks, drawing or whatever. I don't care.
Look at these people we employ.
Do they show?
Go.
Do they show just BioWare? Do they show anything from BioWare? Mass Effect did not do
No,
well.
they take a step back from that for a bit.
BioWare Montreal is working on a Star Wars thing, so I'm curious
Ooh,
to see what that could be.
interesting.
It's been rumored that it's KOTOR-esque, so that'd be kind of cool.
Interesting.
But we don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I think that's a pretty well-rounded press conference, and I feel like that falls in line with other press conferences, and there's still moments to wow the audience. There's still moments to show it's like, all right, we've got our finger on the pulse a little bit. We kind of understand what you want out of this, as opposed to us just doing a bunch of weird things that are kind of feel like there's a disconnect here and there.
Yeah.
And I think the disconnect is because all of their games sell so well, they don't really, not that they don't care, but they don't have to care. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to show anything, which is how this conversation sort of got started with Negri. It was like, we don't have to do anything. We're bigger than E3 in a lot of ways because we have some of the highest selling games of all time.
That's very true.
Every year. So it's like, why do we need to be here? Well, it's like, if you want to be here, like, prove to us you want to be here by showing us some stuff. Like I don't know. It's just
I agree.
It's more
it's a
of like
weird situation to be in.
It's like there are no half measures. But
Exactly.
EA always takes half measures.
Right.
It's like this thing where it's they're just opening themselves up to criticism because they're opening themselves up every year for people to be like, that sucked. Why did you do that?
But the other on the flip side of that is it doesn't seem like no matter how much people say negative things about their press conference, doesn't affect their sales of their games.
Right, and it doesn't. It's just, that's the weird thing. It's like it doesn't affect their sales. They're doing a bad job at it. Why they're pumping money into it? They're wasting money on this essentially. It's like, why are they? What dance are they doing for this? It's a very weird thing that they've been doing, and I thought it was an interesting conversation to have as to like, why are they doing this at all?
Mm-hmm.
What do they have to do to fix it? And I wish I knew. So there was a conversation that if time allowed, which time will allow, I think we could have, because I think it's a conversation worth having. It's a beefy conversation. We'll see where it goes. But the next conference after EA is Microsoft. And I feel like this conference for Microsoft is make or break for them. Because they announced that the Scorpio will be there. Scorpio is going to be a big part of this press conference. Whether you want that to be... Whether that will be a lot of hardware talk, which it's generally kind of boring. A lot of people don't really need to know the CPU and the teraflops. That's kind of why they did that thing with Digital Foundry a couple weeks ago, where some people got some specs and stuff. But I'm really interested to gauge your opinions on what is the recipe for Microsoft to have a successful press conference this year specifically, with all of the not so great stuff that's been going on. Like, what do you think? There's a game they need to show? Do you think there's something that they need to have there? Do you think that there's something that Scorpio needs to be able to do that people...
I don't know, I've been like off the Microsoft boat for so long now.
Right. So how do they bring you back?
Exactly. Like I haven't even thought of it because they've just been like just in the back of my mind, like so far back that I have to dig into a trench.
So you own a PlayStation 4 and a Nintendo Switch. So the only new generation console you don't own is an Xbox One.
Yeah, and I have no intention of buying it either.
Not even if they announce a Halo 6 or something, you don't think...
I haven't cared about Halo in so long because the series to me got very convoluted.
Right.
So I think the only way to do it would be like a really interesting new IP.
What would you...
But I don't even know what that would be.
Is there anything you feel like you're not getting out of out of games? Is there any sort of like genre or something that you're just like? Because you talked about we could talk about Far Cry 5 in a minute, but we talked 2 weeks ago about Far Cry 5, and you're like, it'd be really cool to see them go like super futuristic.
I'm very
like
happy with where they're going.
Right.
With it.
Yeah. The Montana thing is very cool. There's a change.org petition to change all the characters from white to like other races because the person is offended that where the Ubisoft is attacking white people or something. Still not 100% sure if the change.org petition is a troll or if that person's being serious or not. But keep your eye on that because that's kind of fucked
weird.
up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
They're in Montana.
See, the fact that it was started by an editor at The Onion.
Was it?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I
was like, oh, well, then
I
let's
don't remember.
buckle up for
I don't
this
remember
one.
seeing that, but yeah. So always check your sources. But yeah. So is there an itch you feel like hasn't been scratched in a while that you or you next too? Was there anything that you feel?
Oh, I didn't want to like jump in because I felt
No,
have
please jump in.
I have an
'Cause
opinion.
I'm a bit lost.
So I think Microsoft has to, good or bad, and I'm putting this in the most, I don't know any other way to put this, but they have to go balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
They need to come out with like
Swinging
every and any IP that they can think of that's new. They need to just rack up like 5 exclusive games to their system, regardless of what they are, regardless if they're any good. They just need to prove that they can make games that don't end with a number and that are only on their system, because they have not proved that to anybody in a very long time, that they could come out with a new game and come up with a new IP.
Right.
Scalebound was the next big thing, and that fell apart as a glorious disaster.
So when you're talking about exclusive, you're talking about new IPs though. You're not talking about
Yeah.
getting it because they did things like they got exclusive rights to Tomb Raider for a year or whatever. Nobody cared about that. Regardless.
Exactly.
Even
People just
though
ignored it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you want new
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it has to be new.
Not we got Red Dead Redemption 2 exclusive to Scorpio. Not that would be, but that's what you're talking about new IPs.
Yeah, I'm serious, and they need to come up with like something like really, really good, like, you know, a game like
It has to be Halo level of new,
but
not in the sense of like it has to be a Halo game.
The problem is
that
but that's really hard to revolutionize right now. They need to, but they do really need to sort of like, oh, there's a lot of really weird games that are being pitched to us. Like, maybe we give one of them a chance. Regardless, like, just make it. It has to come out. Good or bad, they have to come out with something. And I think that's the only way that they'll ever... They're too afraid of taking chances. But if you're sinking money into projects that don't even come out, that's more of a waste of money than taking a chance on a game and it failing, to me. Because you took a chance on a game, you spent all that money on it, you didn't even let it come out, and now it's dead forever, and you don't even get anything back. You don't even let people... You don't even find out if the game would have been any good to the general public. So, like, to me, maybe, you know, like, someone comes to your desk, if you're the head of Microsoft development, someone comes to your desk and you're like, hey, boss, I got this game. It's about a noir detective set in the 1920s who's got the face of an octopus, and he's solving...
Alan Wake meets Cthulhu.
Pretty much. But, like, something like that, you know, just really...
Yeah, there's something crazy.
It's games that you, like, are out there that tend to be very good games in the community.
I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn, let's make a game so far in the future as in the past about robot dinosaurs and a woman with a bow that shoots them.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wild pitch that they went with, and it worked out for them.
Oh, God, it worked out so
Oh, by the way,
well.
the team that's making this is the guys who made Killzone. It's pretty wild. That's a pretty wild pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it paid off big time. So I completely get where you're coming from, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment.
Yeah, I'm like super obsessed with Horizon Zero Dawn. So
right, and
like
they need an answer. They need
Microsoft
an answer to all this
like
stuff.
that, yeah.
Sony's found a good spot with some new IPs and housing a lot of the JRPGs and the Japanese audience, and Sony's always been good at doing that. And Microsoft was very much, you know, the 360 they ruled because they were coming out with IPs like Gears of War, and some other games that I'm blanking on right now. Well, they had Halo 3, which was huge. Yeah. Halo was still in its
Gears
prime.
of War 1 was on the Xbox 360.
Well, all the Gears.
But I'm just saying 4. That's where it started.
Right.
Gears of War was the Xbox 360.
I know Red Dead Redemption wasn't an exclusive.
Halo 3 was their.
I know Red Dead Redemption wasn't exclusive to them, but I think it sold a lot better on the Xbox 360 than it did the PS3.
I mean, what's so disappointing too is like Microsoft, in the beginning, like they really started like internet gaming on consoles, like Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Was revolutionary. Like I remember like doing voice chat just to do voice chat on the Xbox original. I was gonna say One, which is also the stupidest damn thing in the world that they called it the Xbox One. I'm bitter about Microsoft.
So
well, they were afraid of the path that they were taking with 360.
No, of course.
They tried to reboot to One because they felt like the way that PS4 goes about their business, so that like pretty much it's a weird thing of like
people.
Everything can be shortened too. So it's like PS4, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, X, the letter X, letter B, number 1. You know, XB1, XB2, like PS5.
You could have called it like
Switch.
Nintendo does whatever the hell they want.
Yeah,
They do their own thing.
Nintendo goes, we have Mario. Deal with it.
Suckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a machine to play Zelda on. You're welcome.
Exactly.
No, man, you're not getting Ultimate Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers.
That's only on the Switch?
Yeah, it's the remade Street Fighter 2 with 2 new characters that are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, but it has the graphics of Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And you can take 2 Joy-Cons when you're on the TV and throw Hadokens at the TV for whatever reason. It's bizarre.
Neat for
and
no
it's
reason.
$40. It's so dumb.
There's a lot that you just hit me with, and I wasn't ready for any of it. I'm still thinking about this Noir Octopus.
But yeah, so Cuphead maybe will come out this year finally. We'll finally get to play some Cuphead.
It would even be interesting if Microsoft did like some crazy like, because I think where they really succeeded after like Gears and Halo and all that was like all those indie games they had. So like if they did some like crazy Castle Crashers.
Castle Crashers, I
think or something
was
like that.
free on Xbox One if you owned it on 360 a while back. It was like you just got the game for free, which is cool. But that's the thing is Xbox has such a big indie development initiative.
Right.
Like Gwent got announced at their panel. Gwent was a beta that is exclusive to Windows and Xbox One. It might be on PS4.
It's
now,
on PS4.
but it was not for a long time because the Gwent beta started back in September.
Played it, enjoyed it. I was a big fan of it.
Yeah, I think Gwent is great. Those people at CD Projekt Red are insane in all the right ways.
Yeah.
But they showed We Happy Few at, which we did a video for. You should check it out. GameRations.com. Somewhere on there or
and
go to
YouTube.
But anyway, We Happy Few. They showed the whole little intro to the game, and it was weird and quirky.
That was a Microsoft exclusive too, right?
It is currently it's the Xbox game preview or whatever, which is like the game's not officially out yet, but you can play it early through Xbox.
Did Xbox have BioShock first before it got released on PlayStation? It did, right?
I don't know. I played BioShock on 360. I do not know the answer.
I'm
to that
pretty
question.
sure they had BioShock before too. A game like BioShock. Think about it. Like this is the concept. A guy washes ashore or like crashes a boat into a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean, and there are crazy genetically modified people and giant monsters in suits with drill hands running around, and they're protecting these little girls who are also genetically modified things.
I think that's the itch that We Happy Few is scratching, that like sort of like dystopian sort of like everything seems okay on the outside, but when you start to go a little bit deeper, things are totally fucked, and there's weird shit going on, and there's people running around in masks and killing each other, and you find out that this society that supposedly is so perfect is not even close to that. It's condemned. It's destroyed. Yeah. And you're sort of stuck in the middle of it, trying to get through it and the mystery. So that's what I'm saying. Like things like that are
We Happy Few is
so important. And they show they have this huge montage of all these games, and it's like expand on that a little bit. You know, maybe pump some. I know you're already pumping a bunch of money into it, but maybe give these games some more budget so that you can maybe turn these into bigger games.
Right.
Give them maybe have studios work on these more creative ideas and sort of just branch out. And with the Scorpio coming out now, and them they're bringing it to E3, and they seem to. I have a feeling that they're going to come out swinging with this thing. What do you show on that? What game do you show to show this is the most powerful console ever made?
It needs to be something new, I think.
Maybe they try and grab exclusive Red Dead Redemption 2 footage or Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay that you get to reveal at E3 on the Scorpio. Look how good this game looks. You can only play this game that way here because it's not on PC. You're not going to get that anywhere
but then
else.
everyone needs to buy a Scorpio, and then it's like that's a bigger sell just for Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that you can play on your other system that you have. The reason why I think that
it doesn't look as good. It doesn't run as good.
Fine, they can make that argument all they want.
That's when they always do. It's
when it
just
comes
like,
to
we run things better.
$560 versus $60 for a difference that to me is negligible. That's a negligible difference. So
what do you show for the Scorpio?
I really, like I said, I think it needs to be something that they've been cooking that is not only a game that looks phenomenal. Like, you're not going to get this game... You're not going to get a game that looks like this anywhere else, but it also has to be a game that you can't play anywhere else.
But they've already announced they're not doing that.
I know, but that's the problem.
That's
to me, regardless of whether they announce that they're not doing it, then if they've already announced that they're not doing that, then that's their first problem. That they've already committed to not doing that, then they've already made a mistake.
I don't know. PlayStation 4 Pro seems to be doing all right. They're pretty powerful, and they're
PlayStation 4 Pro. PlayStation has a lot of exclusive games.
Right. So, do you think if Microsoft came out with all of these exclusives, they came out 3 or 4, let's say, this press conference. Look at this new one. Look at this new one. Look at this new one. By the way, they're all running on Scorpio. Do you think that's enough to sell people?
That's
it's
great.
not exclusive to
that's
them.
Enough.
You can still get them on your Xbox One S, your Xbox One. But everything you just saw, the gameplay you just saw was Scorpio or whatever they're calling it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was on that. It's only going to look that good on here. But get excited about this thing because we got a lot of games coming out. You can buy them on your Xbox One so people don't feel cheated. People don't feel like they have to buy the system.
I think that's the only way.
But if you want these things to look this good and play at 60 frames per second or whatever nonsense is going to play, you got to get it here.
That's cool.
That's the move.
It's just when they're showing a game that you can get on other systems to sell their system. I think that's a bad practice.
Yeah, like you can't make it Red Dead Redemption.
Regardless
as like the big thing.
If it's exclusive footage, then people are going to talk about.
People went ape shit when this Nintendo Switch trailer went up. The very first one, one of the first things you saw was Skyrim. People were like, "I can play Skyrim portable. This is so cool," and that was like used as a system seller. I think it did pretty well.
But that's Elder Scrolls is such a different beast.
They also had
handle,
Zelda.
Though.
I don't think.
They
Skyrim
also had
is
the
much
help
different
of Zelda.
From Red Dead Redemption. No, and it did, but I'm saying
I disagree.
A big takeaway from that trailer was not only the Switch, was that, oh my god, a game like Skyrim. I can play Skyrim portably, which was like a lot of people's dream for a long time. I think in that case it worked out pretty well for them. The game Skyrim's not out on the Switch. You can't currently play Skyrim on the Switch, but that was like a future promise, and I think it panned out well for a lot of people. On the other side, though, Rockstar GTA 5, for instance, is the highest selling game of all time. It was number 7 like last month, like of top selling games of the month. Like this game just sells like crazy. People love Rockstar. People eat that shit up. So I think a Red Dead Redemption 2. I know GTA 6 is not going to be announced because they've got Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out. There's no way. But like if a Rockstar game was shown off on Scorpio, I think it could have the same effect that Skyrim had on the Switch. Because of how big that audience is.
But no, I still don't think that people bought a Switch because of Skyrim. Like, I don't know if I could buy into that theory.
I don't buy into it.
I 100% believe that people want Skyrim. Or
with
people
the I'm sure people want those kinds of games. That's not the problem.
I think it was the extra push to get people to buy it because they were like, all right, I'll get like all the Nintendo IPs. Oh, and also I can play Skyrim.
The headline for like almost the whole week was like Nintendo shows off Skyrim on the Switch. People were like, "Oh my god, that's so crazy! Like, that's so cool!" Blah 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 blah. Like that game is so massive, and now I can play it portably. I can play it on the plane. I can play it on the bus. I can do whatever I want with it.
But people don't. The other thing about that, if you think about it, no one would expect that from the Switch. Everyone expects Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Xbox. It's an expected thing. Skyrim on the Switch, it was never even in anyone's radar or thought process, and then they got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like it was so far out of nowhere that people were like, wait, oh wow, that's great. Whereas like Xbox, oh, they're getting Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, yeah, I mean, of course they're getting Red Dead Redemption 2. Why wouldn't they? That's naturally a game they're going to get.
But the Scorpio might not have gotten it. They might not have developed it for Scorpio. That's the thing. Is like we don't know. We don't know what Microsoft is going to show off. We don't know.
It would
The
be-
bar is so low for Microsoft right now that nobody's really expecting anything.
If there's even a thought process in anyone's head that the Scorpio won't be able to play Red Dead Redemption 2, and on the other side of that, if it can't play Red Dead Redemption 2, that's a disaster.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not that the Scorpio wouldn't be able to play it. It's that it's not optimized for Scorpios, or the Scorpio's not giving it anything additionally. Like when PlayStation 4 Pro came out, there was X amount of games that were compatible with the boost mode, and then later on they patched it in so that games could get frame rate buffs or whatever. So Red Dead Redemption 2 could come out and not have any sort of Scorpio optimization because that's not what Rockstar was focusing on. They weren't. The flip side of this is Rockstar could be like, well, we don't care about the Scorpio. We're not going to compromise some of our team having to work on this when we can just iron out all the game and have the game run flawlessly on Xbox One and PS4 Pro. Not even worry about the Scorpio maybe down the line. Like we just don't have enough time in our schedule to get this done. Like we already had to delay. We're not going to worry about that now.
Right.
So it's one of those things where Microsoft may need Red Dead Redemption 2, but Red Dead Redemption 2 certainly does not need Microsoft.
Yeah.
Goes back to the EA E3 thing.
Oh.
So it's one of those things where the flip side of that is that we don't know. And Microsoft has the bar so low right now because the only games they've released are games with numbers at the end of them.
Mm-hmm.
Crackdown 3, we still have no idea what's going on with that game. That game might be dead. We don't know.
Who cares? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't really want a Crackdown 3.
That was an Xbox One announcement, and people were like, "Oh, Crackdown 3, that's so cool." Blah 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 blah.
Meh.
Here we are. Oh, it's almost 2018. I think we've seen 2 things about Crackdown 3.
Crackdown was the game that had the Halo 3 beta, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because that's also a thing with Microsoft. Like, that was a fluke. Like, I don't think they expected that game to actually have done as well as it did.
Crackdown.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
kind of like Bulletstorm.
that's true.
Bulletstorm sold really well because it had a Gears beta.
The Gears Judgment beta or Gears 3?
I don't know if it was. I think it was Gears 3.
Duke Nukem, baby. He's in the new Bulletstorm.
I mean, granted, I did buy
Remaster,
Crackdown
whatever it is.
for the beta and ended up loving Crackdown.
Crackdown was cool because it was
a great
new.
game. Yeah,
it was a
a
new
cool
IP.
game. Yeah, it
We're
was a
talking about
cool
new
game.
IPs on the 360.
Yeah.
Crackdown. There we go. We
Yep,
made it.
it's true.
You could jump around really high. You were like a police officer that had
Yeah,
a
you
bunch of
could do a
crazy
bunch of
shit
stuff.
going on.
Yeah.
You were taking out drug cartels.
Yep.
Crackdown 2 came out. I didn't play it, but I'm sure it was very similar to the first one.
Yeah.
Maybe some improvements. That's good. We're done there.
Yeah, Crackdown was
Pack
really
it
one
up,
of those
let's go
games
home.
where I actually took time to get every orb so I could jump around.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right,
Which
Crackdown
I usually
2,
don't do.
we're good. Let's pack it up. Let's go
Yeah.
home.
Yep.
We don't need any more of this.
Yeah.
Especially since it wasn't a success.
Crackdown 3, you can destroy
Yeah.
every building in the game is entirely destructible.
Oh.
Cool. We're done here.
You want to know what I can do that in? Battlefield.
Every other game.
And every other game.
Any game that runs like the Frostbite. You'll be able to do it in Madden this year. You'll be able to destroy the stadium. Run out of
Yeah,
Frostbite,
it'd
baby.
be like The Dark Knight Rises.
the whole thing cracks.
I'd be okay with
well, it
destroying
was really
Gillette
funny
Stadium.
when it was Roy. Is it Roy McIlroy that the golf games are? It's not after Tiger Woods. It was Roy.
Yeah, I
McIlroy
think
on
he's
the
been
PGA
on
Tour.
them.
The first Roy McIlroy game, I guess. They announced that it was running on Frostbite, and I remember I was talking to Mike, because we were texting during one of the conferences, and I was like, he's like, why does this game need to be on Frostbite? I'm like, I don't know, we're gonna go to war, and then they show like a aircraft carrier coming through the field, and it was because they were showing off their new there were these golf courses that were just these crazy sort of trippy things are curved and
Yeah.
everything. It was this dream state. And it was there's an aircraft carrier crashing through the course,
Jeez.
and then Mike texted me back and he's like, yeah, that's why it's on Frostbite. And I was like, well, yeah, so it's just interesting. But I mean, for pre-E3, we'll do something else before E3 and talk about the good stuff about E3, the fun stuff about
Yeah,
E3, the things we're excited about, the things that we hope. Maybe we'll film an episode where we just talk about expectations and things that we want to see from E3. Things that we're excited that are returning. Maybe we'll take guesses at what could be at E3.
Yeah.
We'll do something. But I felt like EA and with Microsoft, there's a lot of negativity around them, and there's a lot of what do they need to do to shape themselves a little
Definitely.
bit better. Because Ubisoft is always in a pretty good position. They've always got things coming out. They've got Assassin's Creed to announce. They got more Far Cry 5 stuff to announce.
Assassin's Creed.
They've got.
Agreed.
They took a year off. This one might be all right. We don't know.
However, Far Cry
2
5
years. Far Cry 5
really looks cool.
Looks very cool. I'm excited to look into more about it.
Me too.
Did you watch the trailer and all the character trailers?
I didn't watch the character trailers. I watched
those are pretty
the
cool.
reveal
Yeah.
trailer. I think it's an interesting. It's a unique setting. It's something that
I'm excited
they have
for
a
the
chance
story.
to tell a very cool story, cool, intimate sort of Wildlands story, not Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yep.
But Ubisoft.
Is this the first time a Far Cry game has been in America?
I believe so. Far Cry 2, maybe Far Cry 1, but Far Cry 2 was South Africa. 3 was like some weird island. I don't remember. Whereas 4 was
another weird island.
No. 4 was Pagan Min. He was like, it was like
Tibet,
Thailand or something, or Tibet or something, somewhere in Asia.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first time I believe Far Cry is set in America. So that'd be kind of cool. PlayStation, they're selling. They're
doing fine.
They're doing pretty. They're sitting pretty.
What's really cool about PlayStation is they're not just. It's like they're in the lead, and they're not just like, all right, we're way ahead, so we're gonna we're gonna cruise to the finish line. They're trying to get there really fucking fast. They're just continue to release exclusive games that are incredible and pumping out new IPs, and I'm sure they're going to show something else this year. And I imagine From Software's new IP will be exclusive to PlayStation, and if they show off Bloodborne 2 as well. So like, it's just more stuff like that. That's just.
And they'll probably show off more VR.
They're not slowing down, and that's really impressive to me because they could.
A VR price drop.
Oh really?
Which would be nice.
That would be nice.
There's talks of a $50 to $100 price drop on VR.
$100.
So it'd be sitting around the $300 range.
$100.
Which is pretty good.
If not
$200.
$200.
I mean, PlayStation's got a bunch of stuff. Devolver Digital, I'm excited to see. They're going to have their first ever E3 press conference this year.
Who?
Devolver Digital. They do Enter the Gungeon, Absolver, Strafe.
Cool.
They did Shadow Warrior 2.
Right.
They've got a ton of stuff. They're becoming somewhat of a bigger publisher, so it's exciting to see them sort of grow with E3 and have a press conference. And Bethesda, I don't know what Bethesda had an invitation that had it was like a theme park, and each part of the theme park was like a different game that they were going to show off at E3. And there were 2 that were under construction. So people think it's Wolfenstein, New Colossus, which they teased last E3. And I forget what the other game. Evil Within 2 is supposedly the.
That's cool. I liked Evil Within 1.
Yeah, and then it was like Doom was there, Prey, Dishonored, and something else. I forget what the other one was. Doom. There's talks of like a big story expansion coming, so we'll see.
Oh, interesting. Not just a Doom 2.
I believe it's sort of like almost like how Dying Light got that treatment where they got like a whole new area and a bunch of new stuff, and then they kind of like packaged it all together as one thing.
How did they? After playing Doom, I don't know I don't know what they're gonna do.
They could just be like alternate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doom can just Doom is like you said in the beginning, balls to the wall. Like you could go anywhere with that game, and as long as you're shooting shit and killing big things.
Definitely, yeah. It's true. It's Doom.
I want to rip the horns off a demon, stick it in its eye, then rip its head off, and then throw it at another demon. I'm happy.
And then shoot them both in the head.
I love the mini. I think it's the minigun or whatever. It's the heavy machine gun that you could shoot the rocket launchers off the side of.
Oh yeah.
I love that gun. That gun is so good.
He's not thinking of the BFG.
No, it's not.
That's not the BFG.
Oh no.
No, it's like just a heavy machine gun that has like guided rockets as like its mod or whatever, which is really cool. But I think that's gonna do it for us. How's everyone feeling?
Good.
Good episode.
Yeah. Good.
Feels good to be back. I miss doing it every week, but I do like the every other week sort of dynamic for scheduling and stuff. So that was episode 46, titled TBD. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Friendster, Napster, LimeWire, FrostWire, Twitch. Fax us, Tinder.
You can only match with us on
Hinge.
You can only match with us on Tinder Plus. Though.
Plenty of fish.
We just signed an exclusive deal with Hulu.
Check us out. This
Crackle.
Kodi Fire Stick.
PlayStation View.
Only
PlayStation
on
Blue. Roku exclusive.
Whatever.
You worked on a Roku thing, didn't you?
Yeah,
Foodie,
I did.
Foodie TV.
Yeah, Foodie TV. Roku
that.
exclusive.
Check them out.
Neat.
But check us out first.
It's okay. It was a fine job.
We will see you later.
Bye.
Adios.